Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, new details about this noon about the Billings man killed in a shootout last night involving 6 federal officers. It all went down on the 700 block of Cook Avenue around 6:30 in Billings. Police Lieutenant Brendan Woolley says the 19-year-old Billings man killed was wanted for murder in Colorado and opened fire on members of the United States Marshals Montana Violent Offender Task Force who were there to arrest him on a warrant. Now, that man, whose name has not been released, died at the scene. No federal officers were injured, and Woolley says there were no Billings police officers involved in it. Billings Police Department detectives will conduct the investigation. The names of the federal officers have also not yet been released. Well, a suspect is behind bars charged with deliberate homicide in the shooting death of a 24-year-old Billings man in April. 36-year-old Alexander LaForge III is accused of shooting Brett Ness outside of a home near Central Park on April 27th. Now, LaForge is being held in the Yellowstone County Detention Center. His lengthy list of charges also includes fleeing from a peace officer, felony motor vehicle theft, and a felony probation violation. A Belgrade man is now charged with aggravated kidnapping after he allegedly held a woman against her will and physically abused her. 62-year-old James Montgomery appeared in Gallatin County Justice Court yesterday. Charging documents state a sheriff's deputy was called for a follow-up on an abuse report of a welfare check at a home on Jackrabbit Lane. Now, 3 days earlier, someone had filed a report that a woman at that address hadn't been heard from in a couple weeks. The judge set bail at $75,000 and ordered Montgomery to have no contact with the victim. Well, it's now time to check in on the weather scene this Friday. And Ed, it's looking pretty darn nice out there.
It's got to. We're going to officially start summer this weekend. And as you probably remember from learning in grade school, it's that natural tilt of the earth as the sun's rays become more and more right across the northern portion of the world, or the northern hemisphere. And this weekend is when it really hits across North America and across areas all across the northern hemisphere. So that means the official beginning of summer, at least astronomic summer. We always consider the beginning of June as far as the weather goes, but tomorrow the direct rays are right over us at 3:43 p.m. Beyond that, it means that we lose a little bit of daylight every day. We'll talk more about weather coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, this afternoon, state health authorities report 11 new confirmed COVID-19 cases across Montana. 3 of those are in Yellowstone County, Gallatin County, Rosebud County, and Lewis and Clark counties. Each add 2 new cases, and Carbon and Custer counties each report 1. This brings a total to 100 active cases throughout the state, with 20 deaths. A recent surge in Custer County has health officials calling for extra precautions. The Custer County Miles City Unified Health Command is strongly recommending the county return to phase 1 of the governor's reopening plan for the next 2 weeks. The recommendation limits public gatherings to 10 people and asks residents to avoid non-essential travel. Leaders say the county's 19 cases heavily align with the state's more populated areas.
They've had these positives trickle in over the matter of months. We've had all of our positives in the last 2 weeks. We don't have the public health resources. We don't have the healthcare resources that a lot of these larger jurisdictions do. What we're going to do is watch and see what happens over those next 2 weeks and change, again, some of our tactics, again, to really focus on workers and people who are at very high risk, keeping them shielded from this outbreak at that point.
The Montana National Guard will be in Custer County today and tomorrow to help run a free drive-through testing event at the Eastern Montana Fairgrounds. Well, medical professionals are seeing a trend. They're calling it quarantine fatigue as people grow tired of following coronavirus guidelines. Medical professionals at Kalispell Regional Medical Center say several months into the coronavirus pandemic, people are becoming less vigilant in protecting themselves and others. Oftentimes, people in public do not social distance or wear masks. Instead, doctors and other medical professionals are seeing people tired of the virus, and they're shifting their outlook.
This is a time for spending time with your immediate family, with reading more, with appreciating life, with appreciating actually the good things that have happened across the world with the decrease in economic activity in terms of a cleaner environment. People have been pulling together and singing out of windows in Italy.
Now, due to coronavirus, officials with Montana Fair in Billings are officially canceling some of the fair's top draws. Concerts, rodeos, and Supercross will not be part of the scheduled events this year. Livestock will be moved inside First Interstate Arena for distancing purposes, and removal of the old grandstands will pause during Fair Week, which kicks off on August 7th. And a quick reminder, tickets for the Garth concert at the Pasture Drive-In in Manhattan, Montana go on sale today on Ticketmaster. That's $100 per car. So remember social distancing and gather your immediate family members for the concert, which is set for June 27th. And Big Dipper ice cream is a hot spot to cool off in several Montana locations. And now in Missoula, there are two. The newest location is the second in Missoula, across from the mall in the Paxson Plaza. The new spot has much more parking, an indoor area with around 20 seats, and an outdoor patio as well. There are also Big Dipper locations in Billings and Helena, but in Missoula, because the opening day is today, Juneteenth, $1 from each scoop of ice cream will go back towards the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, still ahead on your noon news, commemorating the end of slavery in America today, we sit down with the Billings pastor who shares his thoughts about the recent Black Lives Matter rally. The time now is 12:06, but first, meteorologist Ed McIntosh is in with your statewide weather forecast.